This one's for those who've been on the fence about selling their houses. I'm here to help you get off of that fence. Buyers, you already know this is a great time to buy with the interest rates the way they are. Sellers, this video is for you. My name is Justin Gannon with Keller Williams Realty Southwest in Las Vegas, and I feel like it's my duty to provide you with the actual correct information about what's going on with the Las Vegas market right now. The biggest problem is that a lot of people rely on the media to get them their information, and the media is always a month or two behind because they have to rely on the association and their monthly and quarterly reports to get that information. Myself, I actually study the numbers every single day, every single week, so I know exactly what's going on in the market today. So when you might see these headlines that are doom and gloom and these flashbacks in 2008, 2009, 2010, I can actually provide you real facts to show you where we are today in the Las Vegas real estate market. The biggest things to remember to compare today to the crash from 2008, 9, 10 are a couple of factors that don't affect today's market. Number one is that Las Vegas is actually more diverse than it used to be. Number two is that back then we had over 20,000 homes for sale on the market. You'll see very shortly that we're only at 4,000 right now, so we have a huge decrease in supply. Three is that back then anybody, everybody can get a mortgage. Today, you still have to qualify, you still have to have correct debt to income ratio, the lender still has to approve of you, but a lot of people are getting mortgages because the interest rates are so good, but they're not just handing out money anymore. Back then, when people lost their income and there were so many houses on the market, there was so much more supply and demand. Therefore, prices had to adjust. Today, it's actually the opposite. We have a huge increase in demand and very, very little supply. This means prices go up. Before the coronavirus pandemic, Las Vegas was booming, and obviously we cannot predict the coronavirus pandemic. Whenever a city builds and tends to grow, it just works economically, and Vegas was building a lot. The Raiders Stadium, which hasn't even produced any economic impact yet, and it will once things open up again, obviously. The Raiders practice facility in Henderson. The Golden Knights practice facility in Henderson for the Silver Knights. The Golden Knights arena in Henderson is the building. The Amazon warehouse, the Google plant. You have the MSG Sphere behind the Venetian. You have Circa Hotel. You have Resorts World Hotel. You have other companies like the UFC just built that large campus over the last couple of years. Things are just happening. And because of that, economically, we're just growing. People are flocking here from different states, most notably California because it's close and the climate is good. And so before the coronavirus pandemic, we were just booming. Houses were going under contract super fast, tons of buyers out there. And that was all right before the summer period where in real estate it gets hot. Then the coronavirus happened and people just thought doom and gloom. But the biggest thing is that difference from, like I said earlier, from 15 years ago already, 15 years ago, was just the amount of supplies out there is low. Economically, we're much more diverse as a city now. And buyers have come back really, really, really fast. And I'm going to show you those numbers right now. What we're going to go over here is categories that we go over every single week regarding single-family resale homes in the market. So this is not new construction. This is not condos. And the first category we look at is homes that are actually for sale every single week. And we started off the year just under 5,500 homes for sale. And we had a lot of buyers and just not a lot of inventory and not a lot of new listings. And the reason for that is because in real estate, there are less sales in the winter times, and then it picks up in this March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, and then it dies down again November, December, and then recycles through the beginning of the year. Less people just want to move in the wintertime. Las Vegas, there are more sales in other cities. For example, in Chicago, people don't like to move when it's snowing outside or 7 degrees. But in general, you can kind of go with that seasonality curve in real estate. So what you see here is there were less listings beginning of the year, but there was just a lot of buyers. So the amount of inventory was just dropping. So we dropped from 5,500 to a low right here of 4,177 resale homes on the market. And then there was a huge jump. Why was there a jump? Obviously, if you look at the time period right here, this is when the coronavirus pandemic started. And so buyers dropped out. And they're like, hold on, we're going to wait and see what's going on. And as they dropped out, inventory is going to naturally go up. But you have to remember, a year ago, we were at 8,000 homes on the market. And so this massive jump right here isn't really that massive. It still puts us at a shortage. And as I said earlier, this is not 2010 when there's 20,000 homes. In fact, you can actually see the number of resale homes peaked a little bit above 6,000 homes. And then since then, it's consistently dropped. And the reason for this is the amount of buyers that are out there have come back full force since the pandemic. So here's that example now. These are actually homes that are under contract. These are your buyers. These numbers right here, this means that somebody made an offer today and it got accepted today. Doesn't mean the house sold, but it means that it got accepted. So as you can see, as the beginning of the year went on, just like the seasonality curve that I mentioned, as the year goes on, more and more people come in. We were averaging over 1,000 homes under contract each week, and then bam, big drop, obviously down almost in 300s right here. Again, the coronavirus, people got scared, people stopped buying houses, people stopped going into contract. Then we noticed right about here that buyers, you know what? We're not nervous anymore. We didn't lose our jobs, surprisingly. I don't know if there is a statistic out there for the amount of people that lost their job versus if they were actually looking to buy a house or not at that time. But as you can see, this number started creeping up. More and more buyers started coming back. More and more houses started going under contract. This is a trend. This is not an opinion. This is a fact right here. This is multiple weeks, almost 10 weeks or more of increased homes going under contract, peaking at over 1,000. Again, 1,000 homes under contract in 1 week, and we've been consistently in the 900s in the last 4 weeks. That is massive. So that shows that buyers are back to pre-pandemic numbers. Now we reflect this to homes sold. So it takes about 30 to 45 days for a house to go from under contract to sold. And this is when you have people read the reports of like there's a huge drop in homes sold last month, another huge drop in homes sold last month. We got to remember the people that went under contract, if you go backwards, if you went under contract April 17th, you're closing June 26th. You're closing June 19th, etc. So there's less homes under contract, so there's going to be less homes sold. Um, so it takes about 4 weeks. So what February? What did I say? April 17th. I apologize. April 17th was their dip. All right, and then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks. Look at this. This is the lowest home sold. It correlates directly. So as you can see, homes sold, mid 500s beginning of the year, and then it started going up, and then bam, right before the pandemic, over at 800 homes sold on the market, and then the numbers still dropped to the 600s. But these houses all right here went under contract before the pandemic. So now, bam, huge drop right here. So now we're about a month from the pandemic starting, and so these homes all went under contract when the pandemic started, and then they got to slow from here. But now, as I just showed you, with over 1,000, this huge influx of homes going under contract. Now look at this. We start seeing an increase of homes being sold. So now look at this. We're over 700 homes sold on the market already, and we're almost back at pre-pandemic numbers. Based on this right here, you're looking next week, it should be another big number. And next week, it should be another big number. Week after that, should be another big number, because as long as we're going under contract, 900,000 homes each week, we're going to be selling, 6, 7, 800 homes. I would not be surprised if we get over this 800 number again in just a week or two. Average sales price, it fluctuates. I don't love the average price. I don't love using this because if you have a $5 million house sell 1 week, it's going to skew the numbers. But you can kind of see that we actually peaked the highest average of the year, over $375,000 just 2 weeks ago, which is pretty crazy considering what's going on. Now the median is what I like. The median is, it's a bell curve, and you say, what's the middle price that was sold? And so this number, you can see, again, this is sale. So this drop right here, April 17th, correlates to the March 13th, 18th area when the pandemic started. So this is the number that people love to hear. People want to know, I want to get a good deal. I want to buy a house with a good deal. I want to, get 2010 numbers, for the home price sold. This is important for sellers, because look at this. As I was saying, there's just not a lot of homes on the market right now, and there's more buyers than there's homes on the market. So when there's less supply and more demand, prices go up. And look at this right here. This is what sellers want to see right here. We are actually in the high for the year for the median sales price of a house. We peaked over $340,000 at $340,000 just 2 weeks ago, and it's still hovering that 320 to 330 range, and we've been there since June 12th. All right. So, and then before that, right about here, that's kind of like the average, like the more normal time period. But look at this. So, as a seller, you are having more homes going under contract right here, and more homes are selling, but because there's less supply, prices are going up. Now, another way to tell if you're in a seller's market or a buyer's market is the weeks of inventory. So for sellers, you want the weeks of inventory to be as low as possible. For buyers, you want it as high as possible. What this means is if you take every house that's available for sale today and it is sold at the speed it's sold that week, how long would it take to sell every single house on the market? And we look at a month as 4 weeks. The national average is 6 months is a swing between a seller's market and a buyer's market. So that's 24 weeks. In Las Vegas, we do 4.5 months is usually the average. So 4.5 months, you're looking at 18 weeks of inventory is a swing point between a buyer's market and a seller's market. So the big thing is that we've always been in a seller's market. But again, look at this. As we hit the pandemic and the numbers started going up and less houses started being sold, bam, we got this over 17 weeks of inventory. We were right there from flipping to a buyer's market, right there. All right. And so, because the buyers were started coming back, they were trying to take advantage of people that couldn't sell their houses, as well as the incredibly low interest rates. But now look at this: buyers have come back, and what's going on? There's no new listings. That's the big problem. With no new listings, and there's more buyers than listings going out there. Bam, week's inventory starts dropping. Again, another trend going back from May 29th to now, and now we're back at 7 weeks of inventory, which was almost our low right before the pandemic started. Um, so we are in a strong seller's market right now. And this comes back to new listings. And again, for the sellers out there, why should you sell your house now? Because there's very, very little competition. If you look at this number of new listings out there, we had a big drop again at the pandemic because if you're selling your house, you probably need to move somewhere as well, and people got scared. So bam, huge drop in new listings. And then have they come back? Have they come back to pre-pandemic numbers? Sure, but normally this right here, as we enter the summertime, this becomes a new high, and we follow the seasonality curve, this bell curve right here. And instead, it dropped. So by dropping, and then slowly coming back up. It's come back up to pre-pandemic numbers, but look at this. This is our wintertime numbers. This is our 500 to 700 or 600 to 700 homes a week going new listings, and we've been there. We've been there. We've been there. Now, could this right here be a new trend and start going even higher? We won't know the next week, the week after that, the week after that. But it's something to take note of. Are they coming? Are the listings starting coming back? But you're trying to sell your house and you're trying to get the most money possible, and you have very, very little competition. It's been pretty steady for new listings. So if we are only putting 600 to 700 houses on the market each week, and we are going under contract 900 to 1,000 each week, then there's more buyers than sellers. There's more demand than supply. Prices go up, and homes sell fast. So at the beginning of this, I was talking about how I'm trying to talk to sellers about getting off the fence if you're on the fence. I'm not trying to convince you to sell. I'm just trying to let you know that if you're considering to sell, these are the reasons why. And as you saw, buyers have come back full force, but we just do not have the supply to meet the demand, which means as a seller, you're getting top dollar, you're getting multiple offers, you're selling super, super fast. Also, though, you don't want to be on the boat too late. This actually happened a couple of years ago, 2018, when prices were through the roof over the summertime. What happened was, as a seller, you read the media, you read the paper, and you were like, oh, I need to sell my house now. The problem is that you got that message in September and October, and that's when you listed the house. You then had to sit through the wintertime where there's just less buyers out there in general, and you do a lot of price reductions to really chase the market. What you want to do is get in front of the market today. Get up there today, get that multiple offer situation, and move your house today. So if you're interested in selling, interested in more information about the market, please call me. My number is 702 886-3852, or visit my website, 702sales.com, or follow me anywhere on social media at 702sales. I'll be happy to help you. Justin Gannon, Keller Williams Realty Southwest in Las Vegas. Have a great day.